Real quick before the video starts, I have a new channel based around green tech stories on 4chan, and I'll be uploading videos daily over there. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to the channel in the description. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Defy the Patriarchy in the Life Advice subreddit. The post is titled, "My mom and I are in a massive fight over my fiance." For some quick background info, my mom and I were in a pretty bad car accident in Georgia in 2019 that gave her a traumatic brain injury and damaged her frontal lobe, which affects decision making, emotional regulation, and logical thinking. She moved to Arizona about 6 months later, was doing fine, then the pandemic hit and she was made homeless. I was in college at the time and in no position to up and leave, so we helped my younger brother, who was 20 years old at the time, move out to Arizona to help her. Fast forward 4 years, and it has been a series of disasters for them. I have helped where I can, but they have been royally screwed by individual people, the insurance companies, advocacy groups, and mental health facilities. Well, she came to Georgia to visit for the first time since she left and is staying for a month. She doesn't know my fiance very well since we started dating after she had left, and they've only interacted on one family beach trip which went poorly and when we moved my brother out west. She hates the fact that his family has different political views than ours, never mind that he is very aligned with our beliefs. It is his family that is the problem. She also believes that he wants to isolate me from my family in an attempt to become emotionally abusive. She thinks that our future children will grow up to be hateful racists and that I will end up a battered woman. She has her own trauma related to abusive men, physical, emotional, sexual, the works. And I know that any aggression, perceived or real, is hard for her to handle. During a discussion, my fiance made a comment about how his mom had said she wanted to be put in a home if she were ever unable to take care of herself. And my mom flew off the handle in a rage about how he wanted to put her in a home and how he was attacking an older disabled woman, and that made him an abuser. The fight ended badly with her walking out of the house, swearing that she would leave and never come back. She screamed hateful things about my fiance, about me, and about how I was re-traumatizing her by not defending her against him. That was yesterday, and after talking to my best friend and my work family, I am realizing that I need to establish some boundaries with her. It hurts me, it hurts him, and it hurts the relationship between my mom and me when she screams insults at him and about him. She keeps saying she won't make me choose between them, but that if I want to be with him, my family will hate him forever and will never even be in the same room as him or his family again. Has anyone else ever been in a situation where they had to contemplate cutting ties with a parent? I don't want to cut her out, but she is causing me so much stress and she is actively driving a wedge in my relationship with my fiance. Am I just being a young, naive girl in love, or does this behavior seem irrational? Yes, I know she has a brain injury and is already irrational to some degree, but this seems like way more than that to anyone else. My family is small, just me, my mom, and my younger brother at this point, and I feel like I am in an impossible situation where I either lose my fiance or my mom and brother. Literally, any advice is appreciated. I wouldn't be on Reddit unless I was desperate. Update. I am 25 years old and have been engaged to my fiance, who is 27, for just over 2 years. We dated for nearly 3 years before he proposed. We set a wedding date back when we got engaged, but postponed it because my family was going through a rough patch and it did not feel right at the time. We are now aiming for April 2025. The venue is booked and everything. However, my mom despises my fiance. She says he has warning signs of an emotional abuser, that he is selfish and wants to keep me to himself, and that he is going to turn me into a helpless housewife who just pops out babies for his southern racist family. For clarification, I am a kindergarten teacher, currently pursuing my master's degree, and have exactly 0 plans to have kids in the next 5 years, which he agrees with. He is an electrical engineer, also pursuing a master's degree, and does not agree with his family's conservative beliefs. She lives across the country and recently came to visit for a month. It ended badly, screaming fights, storming out of the house, and crying until 2 in the morning, all of which culminated in me driving her to the airport 2 weeks early. She swears that she will never step foot back in the state for any reason and refuses to be in a room with my fiance or his family ever. While she was here, I did not get a chance to tell her that we are planning to go through with the wedding, that things are booked, etc. I fully intended to, but with all the fighting and turmoil, I did not have a chance. Now, my fiancé and his family are asking questions about where we are at in the wedding planning process, and I am really torn about how to answer. On the one hand, we could reschedule the entire thing, and I could work with my mom to get her to agree to come. On the other hand, we could go through with the wedding, but I would have exactly 0 family members present. I desperately want my mom to be there, but I do not know if she will ever come to terms with my fiance's existence and importance in my life. I am not sure I want to keep postponing the wedding because she is not ready for me to get married yet. So would I be the asshole if I do go through with it? Extra, my mom does have a traumatic brain injury which affects her emotional regulation. She has had the injury since before I started dating my fiance, so he never met her beforehand. Despite the brain injury, she swears that she is being perfectly reasonable and that as an older woman who has dated a lot more than I have, just the one, and has known abusive men, I should trust her implicitly and leave him. Info. Here are some of the warning signs that she says are emotionally abusive. He would not leave me alone with her while she was here visiting. She is referring to the fact that while we would talk in the evenings, he was always in the room because we talked in the living room of the small house where we live. Never mind that he literally stayed out of the house for 2 days so we could hang out together, just my mom and me. He does not encourage a strong bond between my mom and me. She means that he has not pushed me to go visit my mom and brother across the country, even when they needed help. My reasoning is that I do not actually want to go across the country very often, so even when he asks me if I want to, the answer is usually no. He is gay and using me as a beard. She is referring to the fact that years ago, before we even started dating, I made an offhand comment about how people thought that the new server might be gay. We worked in a restaurant with lots of liberal college kids and straight people were the minority, so we kind of assumed everyone was LGBTQ+ unless told otherwise. I was obviously wrong as we have been together for 5 years with no issues in the bedroom and many conversations about the facets of sexuality. He encourages me to lie to her. I lied about going on a trip to Puerto Rico entirely by my own choice, and despite multiple warnings by him and my best friend that it would end poorly. It did end poorly, and she does not trust me anymore, which is a separate issue, but again, my choice to lie. He actively told me it was a bad idea, and I did not listen. Update 2. A little background. We have had Life 360 on our phones for years, since my mom was a single mom and my brother and I got home from school before she did. It has never been a problem because she checks it for peace of mind knowing where her kids are. Now she lives across the country with my brother and I am in a different state. She has a brain injury and still looks at my location a lot since I am not great at answering texts all the time. My mom is in her 50s, I am 25, and my brother is 23. Last Christmas, I turned off my Life 360 because I was going on a trip to Puerto Rico that I knew she would not approve of. I lied about it when my brother asked why it was turned off. My mom caught me in the lie, and it blew up our relationship pretty badly because she felt like she could not trust me. I am well aware that I was the asshole in that part of the situation. I should not have turned it off, and I definitely should not have lied. However, nearly a year has passed, our relationship is still very rocky, and recently we are on the outs about my upcoming marriage. She does not approve and does not want it to happen, but I am still doing it. She has started using my location against me, calling and starting fights whenever I spend time with my soon-to-be in-laws, asking why I'm leaving the house in the evenings or what my plans are on the weekend that require me to drive an hour away from home. About 2 weeks ago, she and my brother turned off their locations and told me they were going to walk into the desert and unalive themselves. I panicked, called the cops, and it turns out it was all a cry for help. They were sitting at home totally fine. Well, I turned off my location out of anger and frustration. The thinking was if they were going to turn theirs off to lie to me, then they did not need to know my every move anymore. My brother texted me a couple days ago asking me to please turn my location back on so they can know when I am home. I am reluctant because I am still angry and hurt by their words and actions, and it has honestly been pretty freeing to know that my mom cannot sabotage my days out by calling and starting fights when I leave the house. I know that she does look at my location for peace of mind. Remember, brain injury, very emotional, very anxious. I also feel that at 25 in a different state, I should have a certain level of privacy from my mom. She does not need to know my every move, but I did turn it off once before, and that ended up causing a huge pile of mistrust and lies, and I do not want to do that again either. So would I be the asshole if I keep it turned off, or should I do what they want and turn it back on? Update 3. For some background, my mom and I were fairly close growing up, but she moved to Arizona when I was a junior in college, and our communication has suffered a lot. There are other circumstances that have led us here, but the main point is that I do not want to talk all the time. I do not have the social energy to talk to her every single day after school, as I'm a kindergarten teacher. I usually aim for once a week updates and check-ins. However, my mom is a very social person and has a hard time understanding how I can care about her when I just do not talk to her. She says that it feels like I am ignoring her, that I do not care enough about her life, and that this is not a healthy relationship. She says that I should be able to communicate more regularly with people that I love. I am stuck and struggling with how to move forward because the fact is she is draining. Our phone calls are several hours long and incredibly exhausting, and I do not want to force myself through that just to maintain a relationship with her. Then again, she is my mom, and relationships take work on both sides. Do I make myself suffer through more frequent phone calls, or is it okay not to talk to someone, especially a mom, that frequently? Am I missing something about how communication should work between a mother and daughter? I am self-diagnosed autistic, and my mom chooses not to believe me because she thinks it is an excuse for me not handling things I should. Update 4. So an update, we got married. A lot of you told me to go through with it, and after a lot of thought, we did. When my mom left in October, we were in a bad place, and we were having a lot of really awful phone calls and screaming fights. I was desperate to do something, and I finally found a therapist who helped me process some of the things that happened between my mom and me and my role in things. In the months leading up to the wedding, my mom continued to scream at me over the phone and make threats about choosing him or her, and how she hoped I was not the kind of girl who got rid of her family to please a man who would end up leaving her anyway. She was downright hateful, and I spent a lot of time crying over our relationship because I could not believe we had gotten to this point. Even knowing that some of her dysregulation was because of the brain injury, I just could not believe my own mom would threaten me, call me a terrible name, and tell me that I was not allowed to be upset with her because she had been traumatized her whole life. We got married in April, and my mom and brother did not attend. I was able to reconnect with my mom's cousin, who I used to be close with as a child, and she and her family came to the wedding. I had my best friend, her family, and my work family there to support me. A close friend performed the ceremony. Plus, of course, my husband's family was very supportive. There were times I missed my mom, and I wanted to see her smile in the audience, but I was ultimately glad that she was not there. I would have felt like I had to perform and cater to her every whim, and I am so glad I was able to just have a lovely day with all the people who came to celebrate with us. Just to reaffirm my feelings about her not being there, my mom did not contact me at all on the day of the wedding and only called me a week later to ask whether I would be sharing any pictures with her. I did send her a few because I thought a small part of her might care, but all she did was comment on how it looked like a cheap wedding. She hoped I was happy with my poor choices and that they were worth the loss of my family. I miss her constantly despite all our issues, but I have not cut her off completely. We have been having a hard time communicating at all right now, and I do not know if it will ever get better. But I am happily married and I do not regret it. Thanks for reading this far, and I appreciate all the kindness and honesty I received from my original post. Either Ticket said, "This is a depressing read." To this comment, Jubong Young Han said, "I cannot believe OP actually still tolerates this nonsense and abuse from her mother and brother. I would straight up cut them off." Then to this user Lopsided Sky said, "I would actually like to know a bit more about him. He does not have a brain injury to fall back on, but I am wondering if he was always an unpleasant person, or if maybe it is spending years of your life revolving around a woman like that makes it inevitable you become like them. I am not sure if I should feel sorry for him or not." This second story was made in the relationship advice subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "Do I dump my girlfriend over crying after a night out? I met my girlfriend on Tinder about 3 months ago. We clicked instantly on Tinder. I could tell by her pictures that she was my type and we had a lot in common. Same shows, both like soccer, same music preferences, and had fun messaging until she asked me how tall I was. She was pretty upfront about preferring guys who are 6 feet or taller. I told her I was 5 feet 8 inches and asked if it was over for me after that. She said she liked talking to me and that I was cute enough for her to look past my height. We went on a few dates in real life and clicked even better than we did online. We decided to become exclusive after a few weeks of seeing each other. A week ago, we went out to eat with her friends and their boyfriends. I had met some of her friends before, but this was the first time I met their boyfriends too. The dinner went fine and all the guys were pretty cool. The only thing I did notice was that they were very tall and I was by far the shortest. I did not really care, but I did notice it. Whatever. Anyway, after the dinner, my girlfriend and I walked back to her apartment and she was quieter than usual and a bit short with me. I asked what was wrong. I thought maybe I said something dumb during dinner, but she said she was not mad over anything I did. After we entered her apartment, she did open up. She said that me being so much shorter than her friends' boyfriends made her feel some sort of way. I asked her what she meant by that, and she said she could not explain it. I asked her if she was embarrassed over me being short, and she said no, but she was just used to dating tall guys and started crying. I mentioned her telling me that she had gotten over her height preference, and she said she knew and that she felt bad about still feeling this way. She just kept saying sorry and crying. So I got a little mad and said I was leaving. She asked me to stay, and I said something I regret. I told her to go fuck herself and left her apartment. She has been calling and texting me since our fight. We talked on the phone once, but I have not responded to any of her texts. She has apologized daily and said she is sorry for hurting my feelings. She claims that she has never liked a guy as much as me, but I do not know if I am being dramatic, but I just feel low-key kind of worthless, and I am considering ending things. But I do not know because I have never liked a girl as much as I like her, but I do not know if I should be with someone this obsessed with height. Like, who cries over their boyfriend being shorter than their friends' boyfriends? I do not know. I am closer to breaking up, but she has been apologizing so much that I think maybe I should give her a second chance. Update. I do not know if anyone really cares, but thanks for all of the advice. I read literally every comment. I know most of the comments said to break up, but some others gave a perspective that really resonated with me. I finally replied to my girlfriend's text and we had a face-to-face meeting at my place. She was crying and even more apologetic in person than she was over text. She told me that the day we went to dinner with her friends was a difficult day and she blamed her hormones for saying something hurtful to me, which I do not know how female biology works, but it seemed like a flimsy excuse. She also mentioned feeling under pressure because her friends were judgmental about me being shorter than her usual type, and all that resulted in her snapping. I asked her if she was sure she wanted to continue this relationship, and she said yes. According to her, she has no issue with my height and wanted me to give her a second chance. I know a lot of you will be upset, but I agreed. I did not want to break up when we get along so perfectly in every other way. So yes, I forgave her, and we are still together. She promised to never bring up my height again, and I said if she repeats her behavior from last week, then I will break up with her, to which she agreed. Mere Bank Guy said, I expect the update where he says her friends pick on her for dating OP and she does not defend him. To this user talking mice said, this is most likely the upcoming outcome. Tell me who you hang out with and I will tell you who you are. Then to this comment, Corfees said, it could also be that her friends told her they genuinely liked him and gave her an earful about her shallowness for being hung up on his height. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.